one for me.
Couldn't you just wait till I was asleep? Or dead?
No, Michael, you do... What's he doing now?
Why'd that happen? Why'd that happen?
It's okay, let me talk to him.
Oh, I can't get up.
No, you'll feel your legs again in 2 hours.
Oh.
Michael, come on, this is nothing for you to feel bad about. Me sexing your mother? It's beautiful. It's natural.
No, it's just I didn't bring you home to do it with my mother.
Why not, huh? You don't want her to be happy? Did you see her? Did you look at her?
I don't think I can ever look at her again.
What is up, YouTube, and welcome back to Tactical Newbie, the channel where a newbie like me gets into all things tactical. With the funny movie introductions out of the way, per usual, like we always do, let's get right into today's video. So today's video is going to be a little bit of an evolution of a oldie but goodie segment that I have offered on the channel basically since the start of the channel. That specific oldie but goodie being the low budget loadout segment of videos. What I'm kind of going to do with this specific segment though, or at least that specific segment though, is basically kind of have a more specific showcase on essentially my top 3 favorite low budget loadouts that I've featured on the channel thus far, and kind of give a more specific highlight on those specific favorites, and kind of just show them and put them on display. I mean, it's not really going to be anything too complicated or nothing really outside of the realm of what I normally do. But I just think it'd be a good idea for you as the viewer to kind of get a general idea of, out of all the plate carriers and all the battle belts that I've gotten thus far, which ones kind of are my favorite, which ones are the ones that I generally run with the most, which ones are the ones that I generally train with the most, and so on and so forth. So with all the rambling out of the way, this will be the low budget loadout top 3 video segment for the plate carriers. And then, of course, I will have a follow-up video shortly after, which will be a low-budget loadout top 3 battle belt edition. But again, with all the rambling out of the way, let's get right into the video, and I will see you guys on the other side. Alrighty guys, and away we go with the countdown. So first we'll bring out my number 3 favorite low budget loadout plate carrier, that being the Tacticon Armament Battle Vest Elite. Originally this plate carrier was kind of in the number 1 slated spot for my favorite plate carrier overall, especially at the low budget variety. But as I started kind of at least improving in my knowledge base and also having a general understanding of some of the other different clone plate carrier systems out there, I came to a general realization some of the flaws that the both the Tacticon Armament Battle Vest Elite and the Agilite K19 plate carrier system tend to have in general. Again, I guess it's just really a matter of personal preference on some of these things, but some of the things that I generally highlight are, of course, the top shoulder clasps. They do kind of get in the way of at least placement of the rifle stock to my shoulder. I do have to kind of find myself kind of, I guess, manipulating the rifle in certain ways, and I can't really get a secure placement on every single instance where I'm rising the rifle to fire. I do also notice that you do have a lot of loose catch points on some of the plate carrier within themselves, those also being for the QD, or the quick detach shoulder buckles, and then also the cummerbund buckles. They have those pull strings that do find themselves actually getting caught on more things, surprisingly, than you would think, especially if you find yourselves out in out in the woods, just kind of hiking around, or kind of dicking off and doing any type of training or LARPing or anything of that nature. It's actually fairly easy for them to get caught up on certain tree branches and other items. I've actually found myself over the last year, give or take, getting caught on quite a few different things here and there. Now, of course, all in all, this is not necessarily a huge knock on the Tacticon Armament Battle Vest Elite with any way whatsoever. All in all, it's still one of obviously my top 3 favorite plate carrier systems, so take that for what you will. It's just kind of more so noticing as I grow in knowledge some of the glaring weak points in this actual system that I can kind of see and follow in suit with some of the criticism that I was generally getting from some of the guys that might not necessarily be a huge fan favorite of the Agilite K19 or the Tacticon Armament Battle Vest Elite. All things considered, I think a lot of the awkwardness of the plate carrier within itself too is personal error. I still haven't fully figured out how I want to kind of set this plate carrier up, so it's still in massive flux by comparison to my other two plate carrier systems. What you'll notice with the other two coming up is a lot of those other two are pretty securely fixed in their more permanent position. There might be, of course, some flux here and there, give or take, but the pouches and items on those other plate carrier systems are pretty much going to be situated where it's going to be, and it's pretty much set within a specific loadout style system that kind of favors what I like to run in. So just kind of doing, of course, the full 360-degree view of all of the components on this specific plate carrier system. You'll notice, like I said, some of the pouches, especially for the side cummerbund armor pouches, and then some of the pouches that I have stacked on some of the pouches, it does kind of give a glaring overview of getting, I guess, having a little too much going on. I guess that's really the best way to put it. All in all, I might try to consolidate this down to the best of my ability to try to make this a little bit more streamlined, especially in taking into comparison the actual weight of this plate carrier system, which again is one of the other glaring weaknesses that I have noticed thus far. By far, the Tacticon Armament Battle Vest Elite is is easily one of the more heavier plate carrier systems that I am running with so far. Obviously, it's a matter of material and padding. It is by far one of the most comfortable plate carrier systems that I run in as well, but you kind of got to take that comparison into play, comfort over weight, especially, I guess, dealing in the long run of training and running in this piece of equipment for long periods of time. While the comfort might be there on certain aspects, by comparison to some of the other plate carriers, what I've noticed is that the weight is one of the more glaring overviews, especially when the comfort that this plate carrier system offers isn't astronomically better in any way whatsoever by comparison to some of the other ones that you'll be seeing featured on this video. Now, of course, some of the other cons that I would like to highlight across the board isn't so much a direct reflection of the plate carrier system within itself. It's more so just, as I stated before, personal error. I think, want to kind of retrofit this plate carrier system to obviously hold more ammo. At this specific point, you do notice that, of course, I do have the 3-mag placard right at the front. But aside from that, I got a bunch of pouches and, well, just basically a bunch of pouches that hold a bunch of things, none of which is ammo. Obviously, that being kind of the primary mechanism for having a plate carrier, obviously to protect you from returning fire or anything of that nature. If you're kind of out in the muck and out in the shit and you only are running with 3 30-round mags and then a bunch of just second and third hand tertiary gear that doesn't necessarily serve you any real purpose for defending yourself with your rifle, it kind of just makes the entire setup a little bit of a moot point. So I'm definitely going to try to highlight more, I guess, ammo carrying capabilities on this specific plate carrier, which again will kind of compound into the idea, obviously, of weight, but just based on the general knowledge that I am improving on thus far, one thing that I am noticing is that I have a bunch of pockets that just carry a bunch of things, and none of those things are really going to serve me any real purpose other than knickknacks, other than just being knickknacks across the board. With obviously the lack of ammo capabilities on the specific plate carrier being kind of the highlight feature of what I was kind of discussing just previously, it also kind of highlights another glaring weakness that I did notice. It's with the actual cummerbund system within itself. While the cummerbund system is very, very comfortable for the most part and very lightweight on the sides, it doesn't really offer a lot of real estate to be able to carry any magazines or anything of those items. You do have that little focalized patch where you can put malleable pouches on the front end of the placard, but considering the amount of real estate that you can have for availability and use on a multitude of other plate carriers and different cummerbund systems, for me, it might be something that I might need to take into consideration, either adjusting or adapting or finding a different methodology, because I feel like I'm losing a lot of real estate on clasps, and losing that amount of real estate is almost key and essential to obviously holding the necessary gear that you would need to hold, most of which, of course, as I stated previously, being ammo. So it is something that I will have to take in consideration down the line, obviously, when running this equipment and kind of adapting. And again, a lot of this stuff is more personal error and not a direct reflection of Tacticon Armament or the Agilite K19. All in all, this is still my number 3 top favorite plate carrier within itself. It just has a few glaring weaknesses that I'm going to have to, of course, iron out, both with my lack of ability and with the plate carrier system within itself.
If you want to work here, in this restaurant, I really think that you need to ask yourself one simple question. How do you feel about frontal male nudity?
Alrighty, now from here, working our way into my second favorite plate carrier system of the low budget loadout variety. That would be the Tacticon V5, which essentially is the clone of the Faro Concepts FCPC V5 plate carrier system. All in all, this originally wasn't one of my top favorite plate carrier systems across the board. When I initially bought this plate carrier setup, to be honest with you, I wasn't really sure what to think about it. I thought the quality of the materials were, of course, very, very lightweight, but not at the time really knowing much, obviously, about a lot of these plate carrier systems when I first started the channel out. And obviously, I mean, to be fair, still not really knowing much, just knowing a little bit more than I did. I thought that the plate carrier material felt, in my mind, a little cheap. I thought it felt a little lightweight, didn't really feel super durable, and that was one of the primary mechanisms of why I kind of favored so hard the Tacticon Armament Battle Vest Elite, because I just felt it felt more sturdy. The material felt more sturdy. The quality of the material felt sturdy. But coming to the realization, especially spoiler alert, getting my hands on the legitimate FCPC V5 from Faro Concepts, what I'm actually noticing more than anything across the board is just how accurate of a representation and how accurate of a clone that this Tacticon / Krydex V5 plate carrier system actually is to the Gucci version, which would be, again, as stated, the Faro Concepts FCPC V5. So be on the lookout for future videos on that moving forward. Again, spoiler alert, you're going to definitely be seeing a lot more of that featured down the line. But what that really opened my eyes to across the board was just how authentic and how much of a good match that this plate carrier system was to the actual real Gucci variety is. Stitching across the board is very, very secure, very, very strong, very lightweight, actually highly more water resistant than you would think, especially in comparison, again, to the Tacticon Armament Battle Vest Elite. The quality and the materials are almost bare none. Again, I am not in any way a material expert, but just feeling the material and feeling just the similarities, I guess, of from what I read up on it, some formation of like a nylon laminate, but some sort of composite material, lightweight composite material, is just across the board just very comparatively similar. And it really just opened up my eyes to the reality of the fact that this plate carrier, for what you pay for, either on the Krydex website or on Amazon, is about as true of a representation of a clone as you could really get for the price. I mean, it's such a true representation of the Faro Concepts FCPC V5, which I didn't really realize until actually getting my hands on that plate carrier system and really noticing the vast similarities. All in all, some of the glaring weaknesses that I would obviously have to point out across the board is that the Tigris material, obviously around the side cummerbunds, is super, super strong and elastic, but as it pertains to comfort, the rigidity of the cummerbund system does find itself kind of digging into your hips a little bit, especially if you got a little bit of love around the side like I do, which I am currently working on. You also do have this internal hook and loop Velcro on the inseam of both of the side cummerbunds that basically also it's the hook version, so not the softer version of the Velcro, that can kind of get caught up on specific material and rub into your skin and kind of cause a little bit of irritation, especially when you're running and gunning. I think the entire at least mindset for that was to obviously be able to Velcro on internal pockets for side plates. But the reality is, if you're not running in side plates, you might want to take into consideration of get some sort of hook and loop backer to at least cover that area up and eliminate any type of grabbing of your clothing, or, like I said, rubbing and causing some friction burns or some irritation for any of us soft soy boys out there that might have that be an effect. But all in all, the entire setup of the plate carrier system within itself is specifically right in line with my liking. It's very comfortable to run in, very lightweight, as I've stated before. There will be some minor adjustments just in positioning of some of the central pockets, and maybe some additional pockets added, or at least pouches added in the foreseeable future. But for the most part, this layout is pretty much cut and dry what it's going to be. I know that Faro Concepts offers a water pouch that kind of sets behind the back banger panel. So you kind of do like a 2-tier stack, where the first stack is a zipperable water pouch, and then the second stack is the back banger panel. If I'm able to find a clone of that, of the water pouch, I would definitely take that into high consideration and probably get that and kind of do that 2-tier stack that you tend to see with a lot of operators, where they got the water panel and then, you know, the back panel on top of that. But aside from that, for the most part, a lot of the alterations for this specific setup are not really going to be needed. I mean, like I said, there will be some minor movements here and there, but cut and dry, this is kind of how it's going to continue to run for the most part. Obviously, there is some major glaring things that I do still have to improve on the plate carrier setup within itself. This is not my primary setup that I run in or that I train in. Obviously, the number one slot is pretty much set for that, but I will have to obviously stack up the IFAC, at least roll one, get that kind of set up to be able to obviously be able to run in and be able to utilize. I might also make some minor adjustments, like I said, to the back radio / water pouch that I'm highlighting right now. As you can see, while it is a pretty decent pouch, doesn't really offer any real utilization except for basically holding a radio, or, like I said, a water bottle of some sort. So I might swap that out with something that might be better utilized down the line, because the retention bungees do kind of get caught up for mags, so it isn't really very helpful when it comes to sliding mags in and out. So while it can hold 2 double stack mags pretty effectively, it just, to me, as it pertains to operation, might not necessarily be something that I want to kind of run with, or maybe want to redirect somewhere where it's of less priority. Obviously, I will be highlighting the Spiritus Systems Jasta pouch, and then the Mutant pouch, which you saw a little bit earlier. Those are direct clones of the Spiritus Systems pouches that I just highlighted. You will be getting a feature of that down the line as well, highlighting the comparisons between these two pouches and the actual Gucci versions of those pouches, which, again, spoiler alert, they are very, very similar, and almost half the price of what you would pay to get them from the Gucci supplier. Overall, though, aside from just some of the building out that I will need to do, obviously, to load it out to be able to run a little bit better, there is far more glaring pros than there are cons for this specific plate carrier, and which is one of the primary reasons why I kind of set it up to be in the number 2 slot. More so than anything else, it has a ton of potential, and once I actually get it kind of set up, ideally the way I like it, I think this is going to be one of my more favorite plate carriers across the board. And of course, the other thing I might want to highlight is just going to be holding more magazines down the line. But again, I think that's a personal problem that most people tend to deal with in any plate carrier system, is holding more ammo, or finding a way to hold more ammo. But be on the lookout for more, at least tactical comparison videos of me directly comparing this specific Petac Gear V5 plate carrier to its Gucci counterpart. And again, these tactical comparison videos are going to more directly, if anything, highlight the vast similarities of this plate carrier to its Gucci counterpart, which again is why it's number 2.
You sex demon? You sex fiend?
No, you got it all wrong.
Impure. Impure.
Jimmy, wait!
Hey, wait, brother man!
Alrighty, now from here, saving the best for last. This is number 1, the Krydex JPC 2.0 plate carrier system. For anybody that knows anything about, obviously, plate carriers, you would know that this is a direct clone / knockoff of the Cry Precision JPC 2.0. Initially, the JPC, both the Krydex and the Cry Precision JPC, were kind of off my radar for the most part. First, initially coming into the tactical gear game. For some reason or another, the JPC system never really stood out to me. Maybe it was, well, not maybe, definitely was due to general lack of knowledge, and maybe the fact that it didn't have kind of the swag or the pop that some of the other plate carrier systems tend to have, that really obviously offer a little bit of sellability for those that might not be too familiar. But as it pertains to it, Cry Precision is literally, it's one of the meccas as it comes to the tactical gear and tactical uniform game. Basically, just in general, it's one of the premier meccas of the military complex when it comes to armament and when it comes to any number of different things. So I didn't really know what I was really getting my hands into when I initially first bought the Krydex JPC 2.0. That was until I put it on. Then it really started to begin to open up my eyes. Just A, the level of comfortability that this specific plate carrier system has. B, the level of availability that this plate carrier system tends to have to be able to offer a level of adaptability that is bar none more superior than some of the other low budget loadout plate carriers that I have kind of worked with thus far. C, it's simple. It's simple. It's not too complex. All the bells and whistles are pretty much ironed out. It's basically like, hey, if you want to protect yourself, wear me. You know, it really doesn't have to offer too much as it kind of aims to more complexity. It just basically says, hey, at the end of the day, this is a plate carrier that's going to protect you if you have plates in it, and it's going to hold strong and be reliable, and also be able to hold some of the items that you're going to need in order to defend yourself. Going from there, you can kind of see just how I built this specific plate system out now from having that general idea, which is for the most part just to keep things simple. You know, keep it simple, stupid, and just kind of focus on some of the core essentials that some of the guys have on the comment section, and some of the guys far, far more experienced than myself have really taken into full utilization and full understanding, which is, hey, let's focus on a level of, holding ammo, so this specific plate carrier system has the availability at bare minimum to hold 6 magazines. Obviously, as you'll see within the highlight of this specific plate carrier system, I'm holding a lot more. I think at this point it's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I think I'm up to 11 and or 12 magazines, or at least the capability to hold that level of magazines. Plus, obviously, I'm going to utilize the top back panel to hold, at least on the back end, even though it will be hard to access, but for overstock, multiple pistol magazines, so that way I can just reference the back or have a buddy grab them and hand them to me in the front if I needed more pistol for whatever reason whatsoever. But kind of offering a 360-degree review of the specific plate carrier within itself. Keep in mind, this was also highlighted in the low budget update video for the Krydex JPC 2.0. So if you want more of an in-depth kind of reflection of the update and what my mental process was as it came to setting this system out. Feel free to reflect that video across the board. But some of the main highlights of this video, or at least highlights of this specific plate carrier, was to utilize the two core essentials, which was ammo and basically IFAK, or just basically for wound protection or anything like that. So some of the two at least glaring factors that you'll notice is that I have quite a bit of accessibility for personal first aid, and or for first aid for a buddy, and I also have more availability, obviously, to hold the ammo. But all in all, as I go on a ramble about the ammo, this just it stood out. As soon as I bought the plate carrier and started putting it on and started kind of fucking with it, I did notice that this quickly became one of my favorites, which is kind of ironic because it is one of my last featured plate carriers on the low budget loadout variety as of late. And obviously, unless I plan for something else to come in the foreseeable future. But it being the last also quickly turned into my number one first favorite. So I really started hammering home a core focus on this specific plate carrier, trying to just wrap my head around the basics of plate carrier theory, or at least when it comes to armor, when it comes to holding gear, when it comes to supplying gear, and really trying to give a total focus on how the application of this plate carrier system is going to benefit me. Just kind of showcasing at the bottom of the behind of the back panel, you can see, like I said, just kind of the utilization of more magazines, as what was highlighted, at least on the low budget update for the specific plate carrier. These 10-speed fast pouches, they are just meant to hold retention. They do have the Haley Strategic, I think it's Haley Strategic, inserts on there that do actually offer more of a secure hold for the mags within themselves. I do also have a strap that follows through the mag pull pouches or pull components on the magazines to help kind of retrofit the magazines in their downward slot. A lot of guys will probably look at that and go, oh, well, you got to worry about them slipping out and falling and mag dumping, or not mag dumping, or yard sailing all over the place as you're running. These bitches are in there pretty securely, and I have at least a multitude of different backups to at least ensure that they're in there more secure. Obviously, them being in the back end of my plate carrier, they're not going to be my first stance or my first go-to for quick reloads, so obviously it would be more of a tactical environment, or something where I can kind of sit back and restock or re-retrofit some of these magazines to the more available space and where they would be better utilized. But from there, just kind of touching on the other addition that was featured on the low budget update, which is the 2 magazine drop pouch on the back corner of the of at least the plate carrier system within itself too. This again was better utilized to hold 2 more additional mags for quicker access if needed than the 3 that would be located on the back of my plate carrier. Again, this just offers the availability to have more magazines when needed, especially in the brunt of the shit, from a lot of guys that have vastly more experience than myself in this stuff. I mean, vastly more experience than me in this stuff. Has been telling me is that magazines are really, or not just magazines, just ammo in general is just one of the core essentials that you're going to always want to focus on when it comes to these plate carrier systems. They do have the higher influx in weight, but they also have it's the number one thing that you're going to use more than anything else. From here, just kind of taking a look at that, like I said, there isn't really very many cons that I can really think of at this present point for this plate carrier system, which is one of the main reasons why I put it into number 1 slot. As soon as I got my hands on it, I mean, nothing really stood out to me as like a huge glaring weakness. Obviously, as I run this gear more and more, we can start to maybe question, the shoulder straps. I did hear some rumors, obviously from guys, again, more experienced than myself, that the elastic strap on the JPCs do tend to expand over a period of time of holding the weight of the plate carrier systems, which will generally cause a little bit of drooping. So I will kind of, recap on that at a later date if that it does indeed become an issue that I will have to address. The configuration of both side cummerbunds, I try to really take into like high consideration of just proper utility and a utilization. Obviously, you can see the highlight of at least a radio, quote-unquote radio pouch, which then can be cross-utilized as another pouch to hold more magazines if needed. So there's a lot of flux and potential with this plate carrier system to, like I stated before, hold more magazines or more ammo if needed, but then also be cross-utilized for other core central components like holding radio systems, which I do plan on with this specific plate carrier, getting a Baofeng radio and then wiring in some push to talk and stuff like that. But then just kind of highlighting the other side of the cummerbund where it just going to have more just admin stuff on the other, kind of non-favorable side or my left side for just simple stuff that I might just need to reflect, for admin reasons. Obviously, you can see there's the flashlight on the corner as well. Like I said, I don't know how I can hammer this home more, but just based on my limited experience across the board, it is one of the primary reasons why I put this plate carrier system in first place. It's just it's just easy to work with. There's not much. Not too many bells and whistles, so like nothing's going to really stand out to the naked eye. Be like, oh, this is the new up and coming fancy thing. Everything's very simple and to the point, and it just offers a vast array of utilization that so far the other two plate carriers before it haven't really been able to match and or be more superior than. So really look forward to this kind of being one of my core essential focuses for a while down the line as it comes to the low budget loadouts, unless there is another plate carrier system or configuration in the low budget variety that I might happen to build out that might supersede this. This will kind of be the mecca of my low budget loadouts. This kind of would be like the highlight of saying, hey, this is for the price. If you want a decent low budget loadout, this is what you can get. But all in all, this is exactly why I put this at number 1.
What's going on? We have a right to know the truth.
All right, I'm going to level with you all. Most important thing now is that you remain calm. There's no reason to panic. Now, it is true that one of the crew members is ill. Slightly ill. But the other 2 pilots are just fine. They're at the controls flying the plane, free to pursue a life of religious fulfillment.
Alrighty guys, I hope you liked the video. Of course, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below. Let me know what you think of today's low budget loadout top 3 video. Keep in mind that this specific segment is just more or less a showcase of my personal favorite top 3 low budget loadouts that I have built out thus far and featured on the channel. Keep in mind there will be a follow-up video of my top 3 favorite battle belt videos following shortly after, if not directly after this video in the following week. But with all that being said, I'll just touch on the same stuff that I normally touch on at the end of every video. I do have a Twitter/X. Link will be down in the description below. Feel free to hit the link down there if you'd like to follow me on Twitter/X. I also do have a Patreon. Link is in the description down below as well. If you'd like to support the Tactical Newbie channel in any way whatsoever, any sort of patronage down the line through membership is much appreciated. If you really don't want to do either one of those, just smashing the like button, hitting the subscribe button, and making sure you're subscribed at all points. I have seen that, I guess, as of late, YouTube has been being a little bit tricky with unsubscribing people from specific channels. I don't know what that is all about, but it's always just a good kind of rule of thumb to just make sure you are subscribed to the video, and if you're not, smash that subscribe button. But with all the rambling out of the way, yeah, I will see you guys next week.